good evening. Welcome to Cardiff City TV. Roll, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal!
Good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live, courtesy of Cardiff City TV, as we embark upon the second Championship Saturday of the season and a third competitive game of what has already been a very busy week. I'm your Matchday host, John Donovan. Apologies for the slightly late start. You can never put too much makeup on this face. It's the Bluebirds travelling to Bloomfield Road today to take on newly promoted Blackpool. Well, they may be newly promoted, but if you're anything like me, the mere mention of Blackpool conjures up nightmares of the 2010 Championship playoff final. And you go back even further than that to the late 80s, early 90s, when I started following Cardiff City, and the likes of Dave Bamber, Tony Ellis and others always seemed to make Bloomfield Road an unhappy hunting ground for the Bluebirds. The 2021 Blackpool model looks no less of a challenge under Neil Critchley. He is one of the most promising and qualified young managers in the country, the former Liverpool under-23 manager. The Bluebirds themselves, though, have had a promising week. They earned a hard-earned draw on the opening day of the season against Barnsley, courtesy of a Marlon Pack goal in a 1-1 final score. And then, of course, in midweek, they had quite a turbulent time in a highly entertaining game against Sutton United, finally progressing in the first round of the Carabao Cup with a 3-2 scoreline. However, they do travel in fine fettle in the knowledge that under Mick McCarthy, and since he came in and was appointed Cardiff City manager, they have one of the best away records in the country. So it's all set up for what seems to be a hugely intriguing and interesting game this afternoon between the Bluebirds and the Tangerines. What side does Mick McCarthy send out to take on this challenge? Well, it's a side that shows one enforced change from the opening day of the season. Mark McGuinness hasn't made it after his knock, so club captain Sean Morrison comes into the team for his first league start of the season. The team in full then for the Bluebirds. It will be Dylan Phillips in goal, the normal back five as we've come to expect of Perry Ng, Sean Morrison, Aidan Flint, Curtis Nelson and Joel Bagan, although Joel Bagan, of course, has the hugely impressive Tom Davis nipping at his heels now after that performance against Sutton in midweek. Two holding midfield players, Joe Rules and goal scorer from last weekend, Marlon Pack, and they sit behind a front three, Leandro Bacuna, who will hope to convert chances into goals this week after getting to promising positions last weekend, Ryan Giles, who's already dazzled the Cardiff City faithful with his speed and crossing ability, and James Collins up top. On the bench for the Bluebirds this afternoon, Alex Smithies, Tom Sang, Will Vokes, two-goal hero from midweek, Marley Watkins, Josh Murphy, Ruben Colwell, and of course, Kiefer Moore. Well, as mentioned, the Bluebirds did have a little bit of a minor scare on Tuesday night against Sutton in what was a very, very entertaining first round Carabao Cup tie against the League Two side. Here are some of the highlights from what turned out to be a 3-2 passage for the Bluebirds in the end. highlights there of Tuesday night's encounter between Cardiff City and Sutton United. A few scares there for the Bluebirds, but thanks to Marley Watkins, a 2-goal competitive debut, the Bluebirds did make safe passage to the second round, where they will of course take on Brighton and Hove Albion, so a tie to look forward to there. At the same time that the Bluebirds were dispatching of Sutton, the hosts today, Blackpool, were making short shrift of Neil Warnock's Middlesbrough, winning that game 3-0 to build on what was an already impressive opening day of the season when they went to Ashton Gate and managed to secure a 1-1 draw against Bristol City. If you happen to catch Blackpool in their successful playoff run last season, as I did, particularly in the semi-final games against Oxford, you'll know that they're a side that's very quick, very athletic, break with pace, break with numbers, but can also play some cultured football as well, which you would expect, as we've already referenced. Their manager is Neil Critchley, one of the most qualified managers in the country, a young manager with a huge future ahead of him, and someone that Liverpool were very unhappy about losing when he left the role of under-23 manager with them. So look out for his name as the seasons progress. Also someone to look out for today, their talisman striker, Jerry Yates. He was absolutely fantastic in that playoff run. Again, movement, pace, goal-scoring ability. He's going to be a constant and potent threat, both for the Bluebirds today and for Blackpool as a team for the whole of this season. In terms of our host today, the Tangerines, how they set up, well, like the Bluebirds, they show one change from the opening day of the season, that 1-1 draw against Bristol City at Ashton Gate. Hopefully we've got the graphics on the screen now. We do. So just to run you through their team, it is Welshman Chris Maxwell in goal. It's a 4-4-2 formation for Blackpool. Callum Connolly at right back. Experienced Richard Keogh, a good, shrewd pickup, I think, from Huddersfield, is one of the centre-halves alongside James Husband, with Luke Garbott, at left back. In front of him is Keshi Anderson. Again, one of those players, look out for him with the pace that he brings and crossing ability as well. Holding midfield two of Grant Ward, and Kenny Dougal is the change that comes in today, replacing Reece James, with CJ Hamilton on the right side. Up top, the man we've mentioned previously, Jerry Yates, really someone who will score a lot of goals this year, and Blackpool have done well to tie him up to a new 3-year contract. I thought he might have been Premiership bound, and he's alongside Arsenal loanee Tyrese John Jules. Well, my experience of being a Cardiff City fan might fill me with some trepidation ahead of this visit to Bloomfield Road this afternoon, but for manager Mick McCarthy, he was cool and composed as ever in his press conference yesterday, where he took on a number of subjects, not least the challenge posed by Blackpool, any potential incomings and outgoings in what's left of the transfer window, and the renaissance of Aidan Flint, that Derby Day goal-scoring hero. Here's what the gaffer had to say.
Injury report. Mark McGuinness has got a knock, and Kieran Brown's got a knock. Whether they'll be any good to me or not yet, I don't know. I'm just waiting and seeing. Otherwise, we're all right. I think we're all, yeah. They've had a few. We've had a bit of a cold going through the camp, to be honest. So we're pretty much, everybody's okay. Yeah. Marley, the first I met, he missed quite a bit through injury, and the only way we could do it, but with the rules that they are, and don't ask me to explain them. The rules as they are only allowed us for him to play in 2 pre-season friendlies, which strikes me as bonkers, because he ought to be able to play in all of them and show us what he's got. So he played in the first one down at Bath, and he got injured. Played a bit part in another one later on, can't remember which. And so the only way really was to assess him, was to sign him on a short-term deal, and that's what we've done. Judging on their start, I watched the Bristol City game yesterday. We all watched the Bristol City game. And they were very competitive in that, although they scored in the 90 plus 3 or 4 minutes or something. They'd hit the post prior to that. They play a good brand of football, like to get it down and pass it out the back. Very competitive. They've come up with momentum through getting promoted, of course. And then they played Middlesbrough on Wednesday night and absolutely bashed them 3-0. So they'll be they'll be very confident, feeling very good about themselves with their first home game. I'd imagine it'll be a big crowd for us as well. Well, we go away and try and win the games. It's not that we don't go away and sit back and take it for a point. I've always said everywhere I've been, if you get a point away from home, it's a point in your pocket, and don't ever dismiss that, because it is tough going away from home, especially now they put the crowds back in. Let's see how we do. You know, our away form last year without the crowds was great. Let's see if it's just as good with crowds in. Let's hope it is. We all need it. That, you know, you see players and they're quite stoic and tough and big and robust. But emotionally, we all want to play. We all want to be part of the squad. And sometimes especially for a player like Aidan, who had been at Bristol City, and I thought he was brilliant at Bristol City. And then, was it Borough signed him then? And then he just seemed to have, well, he's come here and he was up at Sheffield Wednesday, and I couldn't get my head around it. You know, when I looked at the squad, I thought, oh, I've got Flint here, that's all right. And then I found out he was recovering from a nasty injury. And I just said to him, I did put my arm around him and, you know, asked him what had gone on. And he just said, you don't know, he didn't get picked, he's gone moved. You know, by the way, we're all different. We all see different things. I just said to him, listen, I want you as one of the leaders, one of the team leaders and playing in the team, and he's been brilliant. He's been outstanding. Really pleased with him. I couldn't ask any more of him at all. He's been on and off the pitch. He's been first class.
Like I said, I think we put in a good performance on Saturday and the other night. The first 20 minutes the other night wasn't the best, but after that, I think we really picked it up. So yeah, we're still finding our feet, and it's waiting for it all to click into place. If we can back up the other night with a win against Blackpool, then that'd be perfect, because we've got a pretty hectic schedule coming up for the next couple of weeks, Saturday, Tuesdays. So it'd be nice to get our first win tomorrow and set us up nicely for the fixture upcoming. We had a good win the other night against Middlesbrough in the cup as well. Start off with a draw against Bristol City as well, so they're in the same boat as us really. They've probably got a bit of wind in the sail from getting promoted last year, like you said. But we'll just treat it as any other game and put that to the back of our minds and go out to win the game. Oh yeah, I'm a bit like Lazarus really, come back to life. Now I'm so happy that the gaffer's put his faith in me. Obviously, I was out for a long while with a hamstring tear after surgery and stuff, and obviously not getting a look in on the old manager, which was difficult to take. I could understand it at some point, but then it just got out of hand, and obviously I had to go elsewhere and play my football, and then that's when the injury happened. But like I said, I'm grateful for the gaffer for giving me a chance when he come in. I'd just come back from major surgery, so yeah, I've kind of found my feet a little bit and enjoying playing football again. Really, well, it's probably the biggest goal I've ever scored, really, and you can tell how much it means to the fans and stuff when I'm coming out the stadium, or if I'm walking off the coach or whatever. People say stuff to you, and it's nice to hear. It really is. Well, yeah, definitely. I think the gaffer's proven at this level. He's managed various clubs at this level, got promoted a couple of times as well. So it's like he knows what he's doing in this division. When he came in last year, we had that revival. We went on an unbelievable run of I think it was 14 games or something without losing, which was amazing at the time because it got us out of a sticky situation and propelled us into the playoff area. So hopefully we can be in that top six again this year. That's the main aim, and everyone's striving and working towards the same goal. Obviously lent on a few people's shoulders, the fewer experienced people like Sean Morrison, Marlon Pack and stuff. But it was my own mental strength to deal with it. Really, I think you've just got to get on with it and just keep working hard. And I was hoping a chance would come away here, but that was obviously not to be. I went out on loan and stuff, but then, like you said, through the injury and stuff, that was me just battling against my own demons when I was injured and that. Trying not to let it get on top of me, trying to be positive when I'm doing my rehab, doing my work, coming in, working hard, and it put me in good stead when I was called upon to be back playing for Cardiff.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Jopra's away here. Here is Michael Jopra. Takes the shot on early and scores. Well, dreadful defending from Blackpool. Fantastic finish by Jopra. Could have even took a touch, but took it early. And it was a tremendous finish.
Holding on the left with the throw, long towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Cleared away by the Blackpool defence. It comes out to Ray, far side of the area. The Scottish international tries to flick it in field. He does, he finds Sinclair. Long cross coming in, Thompson waiting, heads it down across goal. Chance here for Ramsey, getting the ball back to Whittingham. Shot is blocked, and the shot coming in from McCarthy is a goal to Cardiff City.
Absolutely starting with Trevor Sinclair, cross to the back post, Thompson headed back, Ramsey laid it on. What a fantastic left foot drive, keeper had no chance, seen them fail.
Whittingham. We fooled everybody. Peter Whittingham beats Matt Gilks at his near post. You'd have to say it was arguably the goalkeeper at fault there for not really seeing what Whittingham was planning.
Yeah, there's very little celebration from Peter Whittingham, and you don't really know whether that is what he thinks is a goalkeeping error, or whether it's just Peter Whittingham being Peter Whittingham.
Welcome back. A run there of Mick McCarthy's press conference, Aidan Flint speaking to the press yesterday, and also some top 5 memories of games against Blackpool. And what really stuck out for me, I should say, is Aidan Flint's press conference. Seems to be enjoying his time in a Bluebird shirt at the moment, and even the most experienced of players need an arm round the shoulder occasionally. Since he's come back into the Bluebirds lineup, he really has been a stalwart and a tower of strength as the centre of those 3 centre halves today: Morrison, Flint and Curtis Nelson. Well, it's almost time for kickoff. Behind me, you will be seeing some shots, live shots of Bloomfield Road. Just over 1,500 of the Bluebirds faithful have made the trip to the northwest today and enjoying the sights such as the famous tower there. Probably a couple of beers tonight as well if they're staying around. But first of all, the matter at hand, this championship encounter between Cardiff City and Blackpool. We're expecting a very entertaining game. And the other side of the credits, well, unfortunately for you lot at home, you'll be stuck with me again as I'm on commentary today. And we look to bring you all the action for the next 90 minutes of this encounter at Bloomfield Road. So a quick pause for credits, and then I look forward to your company the other side of the break.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
Well, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal!
And welcome back. Thank you for joining me, John Donovan, here on Matchday Live, courtesy of Cardiff City TV, for today's game between the Bluebirds and Blackpool. From Bloomfield Road, of course, a former Premier League ground after Blackpool beat Cardiff City in the 2010 playoff final, and it seems like a raucous atmosphere for this afternoon's game. As I mentioned just before the credits, just over 1,500 Cardiff City fans have made the trip to the northwest today. In the background there, you may have seen Mick McCarthy just shaking hands with Neil Critchley and his new assistant manager, Stuart McCall, the former Rangers and Everton midfielder and former Bradford manager. There we see on the screen Blackpool's team for today, showing one change from their game against Bristol City last week. It is in midfield with Reece James dropping out and Kenny Dougal coming in. Players of note to look out for, well, Jerry Yates is the name on everybody's lips. He's someone who's going to keep Cardiff's 3 centre-halves very busy this afternoon. The Bluebirds, they themselves have one change from last weekend's opening day encounter against Barnsley. Mark McGuinness hasn't made it following a knock-off of what was an impressive competitive debut. But who better than club captain Sean Morrison to cap in as a very able deputy. Pack and balls continue in midfield. Collins continues up front, keeping Moore having done almost 90 minutes against Sutton on Tuesday night. Marley Watkins, 2 goals in the cap on Tuesday. He has a place on the bench alongside Will Oakes, returning in the league from suspension.